Mythology isn't just ancient. Sometimes a mortal becomes a myth by force of imagination alone. And even years after his passing, David Bowie remains one of the rare humans who crossed that line. He wasn't just a musician or an actor. He was something stranger, something older. A modern demigod who kept reinventing himself the way ancient heroes changed forms in legend. Today we explore why Bowie was never just a star. He was a myth. If you enjoy mythology brought into the modern world, like this video and subscribe for more myths in minutes. Now, let's step into the labyrinth he built. The ancient Greeks believed their gods communicated through symbols, transformations, and masks identities that shifted with every story. Bowie didn't just imitate this, he embodied it. His personas weren't costumes, they were mythic archetypes wearing human skin. Let's start with Ziggy Stardust, a visitor from the heavens, a messenger between worlds. This is the same role Hermes carried in myth, the guide between the mortal world and the divine. Bowie just reinvented it with glitter, starlight, and sound. But Ziggy was only the beginning. Bowie stepped into myth again with the Starman, a figure looking down at Earth, offering hope to a world collapsing under its own weight. This isn't just fiction, it's Apollo, the shining god of music, the bringer of harmony, the cosmic protector who speaks through light. Bowie didn't need to study these myths, instinctively played them. The reason these personas still resonate across the internet is simple. They weren't just characters. They were myths reborn in the modern world. And mythology always repeats when a culture needs its symbols back. Look at the film Labyrinth. Bowie's role as the Goblin King was more than a fantasy character. In Greek myth, there is Hades, ruler of a hidden world. There is Dionysus, who lures mortals into strange realms of transformation. And there is Pan, the wild god, who bends reality with music. Bowie fused all three into one being, a ruler, a trickster, and a guide who tests the human heart. His labyrinth was a maze of choice, illusion, and identity, exactly the kind of structure ancient myths used to challenge their heroes. This is why Bowie's characters feel so timeless. They are echoes of stories older than recorded history. The Greeks believed mortals who carried the power of symbols were touched by something divine. Bowie was one of them, a mortal who lived like a myth, a man who treated identity the way gods treated form, always shifting, always evolving, never fixed. But to truly understand why his legacy is mythological, look at his final act. His last album, Blackstar, released just days before his death. The Greeks believed heroes had a final sign, a last message to humanity. Bowie gave one. Story wrapped in music, a ritual disguised as art. In Blackstar, he becomes a symbol leaving the world. A star returning to the sky, just like the heroes who became constellations after their death. Remember the myth of Orion, a hunter raised to the heavens as a star? Or the twins Castor and Pollux? Bowie joined that lineage, a mortal turned celestial in the minds of millions. And here is why his myth survives. Myths live on when they solve emotional problems for a culture. Bowie showed people how to break their identity, how to rebuild it, how to reinvent reality without losing the soul underneath. That is what heroes did in Greek myth. They transformed to survive the chaos of their age. Bowie taught the same lesson in a world drowning in change. The Greeks said a myth lives as long as someone needs it. And people still need Bowie. The Starman for anyone who feels alien, Ziggy for anyone who feels out of place, the Goblin King for anyone navigating their personal labyrinth, Blackstar for everyone who wonders what remains after the final curtain. Years later, the power of his myth only grows stronger, because Bowie did what very few humans ever do. He turned his entire life into a story larger than himself. And the Greeks would say that makes him immortal. If you want more mythological deep dives, subscribe and join the journey. Thanks for watching.